Good morning, everyone. It is Saturday morning. It's hard to believe we're literally just a few weeks away from Christmas, December the 6th. We were talking before we got started. I think across the country, everybody's having now the winter is set in Tennessee. I assure you, it's about 15 degrees cooler than we normally have, and we are dealing with it pretty well as we could. So, at any rate, guys, I want to welcome everybody. I'm really glad to have you this morning. Our Saturday mornings, we've missed a couple of weeks. I apologize for that. Just some travel difficulties and different things that's made us have to miss a couple of Saturdays. I couldn't find a substitute to fill in as a host that week, but I was appreciative of the Saturday mornings and what we've got going on. So, guys, today we're going to jump right in. I was thinking something last night, though. Guys, I don't know what made me think about it, but I guess I was watching something on the news that was talking about the economy and people struggling. And I began to understand how blessed I was that I found this industry. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I'm going through some health issues, and what really made the difference was that for those I was on the call, guys, if you had a record paycheck yesterday, if you had one of your better paychecks, put one in the chat. I know that I saw people telling me how well they did last week and their paychecks. And what really made me think about it, and this is not to brag by no means. I hope it doesn't sound that way, but guys, I've been under the weather for the last few years and haven't really been able to work as hard. And I've really not traveled much in the business. And I've been doing this for 23 years. And guys, on Friday, I had one of my top 10 checks I've been since I've been with the company. And I've lost people and lost leaders that decided not to do this anymore. I've lost people that didn't want to work anymore. Yet, because I built a great foundation from years ago, we had not a record paycheck from me on Friday, but I had one that was up in the top 10 since I've been in this comp plan from the RX company. So, guys, why is that so important? Because if you don't realize what residual income can do for you, and my nephew's an attorney, and guys, he's a high dollar attorney. I'm talking $650 an hour, and that's pretty high dollar attorney. And the bottom line is that we talk about this all the time. My paychecks went up and I'm working less. And so when you really begin to understand the power of this industry in the network marketing industry, the direct selling industry, the social, whatever you want to call it, if you begin to understand that and realize what it can do for you financially and what it does long term as a business owner, guys, there's nothing quite like it. Is that easy? No, it's not. Is it frustrating? Absolutely. But guys, it has been so worth it. I feel so blessed after listening to all these paychecks for being so big. And I know this week's going to be up there as well because of all the promotions we ran. But guys, we got a company in momentum. With that said, we've got this being recorded. You know, what you make here will be depend on your effort. There'll be people who make nothing to join our company. There'll be people who lose their $29.95, what it costs to starter in Canada, $34.95. Guys, there'll be people who lose that because they won't put the effort in. But I always refer it back to like my daughter. She always laughs about it because we get a bad rap in our industry when people don't make money. But why is it when they go to the gym and they join, they don't ever go back on the gym and say it was their fault? Guys, it's the same difference here. You join our company, you won't make money unless you go to work and put the effort in. And I'm so excited this morning to get to introduce someone that I met, somewhere I don't really know for sure, but I'm thinking about 3 years ago. Would that be about right? I don't know exactly how long you've been in the company, but I met you at a Super Saturday. I had no idea who you were. I heard you speak. I was impressed. I had not met you before, and I was sitting with Palmer. Y'all call him Coach, whatever. I call him Palmer. I was sitting with Palmer. And I said, "Who is this girl? Man, she can speak." So she's done very well in the industry, and he said she's a firecracker. That's what he called it. He said, God, she's got this. And the thing I was so impressed with was your knowledge, with your passion. And then my daughter kept talking about you. I've been trying to get you on this call for a while, and it's never seemed to work out. Timing wasn't just right. So how long have you been in the company? I mean, we obviously partner code's only been open 2.5, whatever it is, but you were with Limu. I was with
Mhm.
RX. We were a merged company before we became partner code. So why don't you kind of tell us your background there?
So I actually met Brent Palmer by chance. My brother Facebook stalked, found a Limu party. We showed up at a house, did not know anyone in the room, and they just mentioned Brent was kind of a leader in the area. And so I just said, "Hey, you come here. I got some questions." We kind of cornered him in the dining room and just started asking the questions. I grew up in the industry, so I knew kind of what to look for. And he just told us to go home and pray about it. The next day, we joined him, worked the business for a little while. Life happened, got in the way, and I had pretty much all but quit uh, as this moved into Partner Co. a couple of years ago.
But then you decided to change your mind, or what made you decide to make the difference? What was the
Um,
change? What was the everybody has that moment. Let's face it, in life we have those aha moments. And I'll tell you,
mhm.
I joined this industry, I didn't want to be in it. And I was in it because I needed to be in it. I needed the money. And then it became a part of me and I became passionate. But why don't you kind of walk us through what happened, what changed?
So Brent came and approached me before Partner Co. kind of came to be the October before. And I was like, thank you for dinner, but I'm not interested. I had become a single mom. I had been a stay-at-home mom for 10 years, and I became a single working mother. And I was working 4 jobs, and I did not think I had it in me to do this industry again. Fast forward from October to the next August, and that was when the system of growth started, and the posts were popping up in my news feed. And I was like, I'm so sick of seeing these posts. And it wasn't like, it was the jealousy type deal. Like, I don't feel good. I don't want to see my friends feeling better while I'm over here miserable. And so, August 1st of 23, I decided, okay, I've got some of these drops in my cabinet. I'd bought them several years prior, took them one time and threw them in the cabinet. So, they were even expired drops. And I decided, you know what? Let's just dip our toe in the water. I took a selfie with those drops, and all of a sudden, people started inboxing me and commenting, and I called Brent and I said, meet me, let's sit down. It got my attention through those posts.
Well, I think fast forward, things have really changed for you. Obviously, for those who don't know, I believe it was just this last week you promoted
Hmm.
to CEO. And
Yes,
again,
sir.
not to make an income claim, but this is one way we get paid. I've had multiple people on my team get promoted to CEO this last week, but that means your base commissions were $4,000. That's a criteria to become. That's not, as I said, that's one of 8 ways she got paid. But last week you got a pretty good record. I don't know if it was a record paycheck for you by no means, but I'd say it was a pretty good paycheck last Friday.
It
Or
was probably record. I mean, besides the week, that savings bonus kicks in, that was probably record because that was, a little extra.
sure. And that's right. But I forget about the savings bonus. That does kick us up pretty nice for when we, mine was a long time ago when I got to 10,000. So tell us what's changed in your life because of it. What have you really, tell us what really changed for you to decide to really go in? I'm gonna call it all in because that's what happened. You went from dabbling and kind of enjoying that. You'd made money in the business industry before, but it
Hmm.
wasn't like you were real passionate about it again.
Well, no. Sitting down with John and Darren, I got the opportunity to fly into Puerto Rico and meet John and Darren. We sat in John's house, and on the plane ride home, I just broke down in tears because I was like, this is the one. I mean, I was an Amway baby. I understand the industry loved the idea of network marketing, but you just couldn't find the one everybody can do. You had to change and become this special person to go make money in a lot of these companies. And this one, I was like, literally anybody can do what we're doing. It didn't matter if it's the single broke mom who's trying to get on her feet or a successful business person, they could come in here. And so when I came home, I called Brent and I said, all right, I'm in, let's do this. And so January of last year was when I started actually running the system of growth. And I got fired up about teaching my team what to do. And we just played follow the leader. Whatever Brent told us to do, we went and did.
I think there's a good lesson in what you just said.
Follow the leader.
Follow the leader. I mean, it's following the person who's had success and not trying to rewrite. I was one of those people, by the way. I was wanting to do it my way, and that's 23 years ago. And it was my mentor back then wasn't Brent. It was obviously a guy named Paul Orbison, and he said, "You got to do it. Try to do it my way for a while. Try to do it the way we try to teach it." I was hard headed, so I mean, I was one of those that wanted to do it. I mean, I was the old crusty old business guy. I thought I knew more than everybody else, and then I wanted to rewrite the rules. So let's talk about what means because you said you grew up in the industry. You know about systems and what it means if you can come up with one. So let's talk about that a little bit. What makes the difference?
Well, so before, um, you really didn't have a system. Like they would just tell you, go share the plan, go share with people, tell them. And they had a play back in the Limu days. But this one, we literally have a system in an app where we can copy and paste to our social media. And then we can plug in and learn how to use that app to grow a business. I don't have to know everything. I don't have to come up with what to share with people. All I have to do, one of my things I tell people on a three-way call, if I was doing a call with Chris, I'd say, me and Chris are not that smart, but we're really good at following directions. And then everybody laughs every time. Like everybody laughs because when they look at what I do, I said, when you sit down and see what I do to make what I've made, your jaw's going to hit the table. And everybody does. I'm like, if you can just follow a few simple steps, you can build a really large business here and they'll pay you nicely to do it.
So basically, let's just talk about what you do with it. So you're talking about a new person, what you say to them. So how do you keep your team motivated? What do you do to keep your team going? I mean, obviously you got a large team now, but you had to start with just like everybody else. The biggest misconception is that you came over here and brought this massive team. You started just like a brand new person because you didn't start with them. I mean, obviously I got to come with a team because I was in a different
Mhm.
situation. You started from scratch.
Oh yeah, when I started in Lima, it was from scratch, and when I started over here in 23, I actually printed out my check to show my team tomorrow when we do a training because it was $33.04. So that is not much of a team when you get started. Um, Basically, what we do is we make sure everybody gets onboarded properly because that is the most important part. They've got to understand how to post, how to, run our system. So what I've been teaching is the five fingers. I was an elementary school teacher. My degree was elementary, ended up teaching middle school, high school, weightlifting, and all that. But I said on the IPA the other day, everything you need to know to build a big business here, you learned in kindergarten. If you will go watch a kindergarten teacher or a first grade teacher with her students, what does she do? She teaches them a few simple routines that they follow on a daily basis. They know how to line up in line order. They know they're going to go over the calendar every day. All those things. I was a basketball coach. We did the fundamentals every day when we came into practice. And then what does the teacher do? She loves on her kid when they do what she wants them to do. She dotes on them. She gives them that praise that they're looking for. And guess what that kid does? They do it again. And they do it again because they want that praise. So instead of griping at my team about what they're not doing, you're not posting, you're not doing what you want to, what I do, I take that screenshot when they do the three-way call with me. I post it in my team page. I dote on them on our team calls. I'll go live periodically throughout the week and I brag on them for what they're doing right. And the more I do that, the more they do it. And my team is super coachable. I mean, they will follow the rules like nobody else. But when we talk to people, we don't overwhelm them when they come in because we realize that people are working a full-time job. They're moms, they're involved in church, they're trying to run their house, they're trying to be a sister and a daughter. So if you can keep it simple and not try to throw everything at them at once and meet them where they are, they may one day just turn into a massive person in your business. If Brent had continued to pressure me about doing this, it was probably going to push me away. It was always just fun to catch up. But then when he had my attention and I wanted more, he gave me everything I wanted out of him, constantly to go grow a business. So those have been huge keys for our team and growing.
So you talk about the onboarding. Let's talk a little bit about what do you mean by that? So let's just say you got me to join today. I'm out of town, not even in your hometown. So you're going to do this all by Zoom. So what or by the
Yep.
phone? Tell me what
Yep.
you're going to do. I'm brand new. I'm not
So
weeks late, obviously, but let's just talk about what you're going to do to get me started for the money side.
Okay, so I'm going to drop an onboarding link. It's the same one that's on the Slenderized board that we use through Andrea. It's just kind of catered towards my team. And what it does, this is the way I explain it to people. When you're in college, your professor says, read chapters 1 through 3. We'll discuss them on Thursday. I said, I'm going to send you this link. This is your homework. Then on Thursday, we're going to launch you, Chris. So you go through, we put them in a three-way text. They get the link. I drop it in. They go through that. It loads boards on their phone. It gets them in Telegram. It gets them in the Facebook groups, all those things, their keyboard set up so that I'm not sitting there staring awkwardly at you when your phone doesn't work right and you're trying to set up passwords. It's a really wise use of our time. On Thursday, we log in. We're going to Zoom. It's you and me and Brent. You're Brent's new person. Brent is just there to listen and learn if I'm the one onboarding. He's seeing how I'm onboarding. So then I screen share and I walk you through the five fingers. So my five fingers, a lot of people ask me, is one, post at 9 and 3, lifestyle in between. Two, love and reply to all your comments. Three, you're going to go to private message and use your scripts. 90% of the time, it's script 1 and 2. Four, you're going to sell their drops, get them in a three-way text and set up for success. They're getting started text, all that. And then number five is we're going to convert them. We're going to follow up and we're going to convert. If you can do these five things, you can learn the rest of it as you go. And that's literally how we start them. And then we look for talent. We spot the gold. When we see somebody who starts selling 30 boxes, who's selling 40 boxes, who's selling 10 boxes, I try to monitor and make sure, hey, we got something hot here. Get me plugged into this one. And we start going, okay, hey, you've sold your 30 boxes. Let me coach you on how to double dip in our comp plan. So we're just constantly looking at those numbers. And if I see somebody order too much under their number, I said, get me on the phone with them. We need to teach them how to get new volume bonus. So we're just teaching them those things as they go. Because if I go past these five fingers, their brains explode. Like literally, if I start trying to tell them we got Zooms calls on Sunday night for my team, Wednesday night for Brent's team, IPA call every weekday at 9:15, they back up big time. And I know we're super excited, but I see that a lot. People overcomplicate it. They tell them too much and they're like, I got a full-time job. I ain't got time for this. So we just try to keep it really simple.
I think I hope everybody's listening very closely here, because most people are not joining this business to completely go in like I'm all in. I have been in this industry for a long time, but most people are looking to supplement an income. And if you overwhelm them, I mean, it's just way too much. And so what she's basically done is made it simple for them and let them move themselves forward as they want to get more and more involved. And obviously, there's huge events going on today. Once you get people plugged into an event, they'll begin to realize how big it is. But they've got to do it on their own pace. There'll be people. Perfect example would be my daughter. I couldn't make her
Mm-hmm.
do this. I mean, she's in my own family, and she's not going to had to be at her pace. Trust me. And now she's much more serious, of course. And so the thing we want everybody to understand is that you've got to have a system. So after you get people kind of plugging in, you say you follow them, you track them in your ex office, of course, to watch what's going on, or you keep in touch with your sponsor. How do you distinguish who is that person? Because of their sales or just their motivation? What makes you really start working with somebody?
Okay, so I'm a real quick stalker. So when somebody's bringing somebody in, I mean, if I'm doing a three-way call, I'm looking at their Facebook while we're talking. I'm like, look, you have this many followers, so I can see. And then we talk about how active they are on social. I've taught my team how to look for the talent too. Somebody active on social, somebody who's got a following, somebody who has credibility. We can coach those things up. But initially, if they've already got it in the bag, they're going to be somebody with some potential to sell a lot of boxes. We do track new volume orders through our striking distance. You know, you can pay attention to that or on your volume report. But once we start seeing those boxes come in, or we see the Kim Gray post or post number two coming in with a lot of comments, we know that's somebody we really need to pay attention to. Because for us, like I was the single mom working 4 jobs. Most people are not going to stay up late and get up early like I did. But you know, as single mamas, I think I heard Christy on here, like we just have a different DNA because we will do anything we can to take care of our babies. But a lot of them, if you got a spouse, you're comfortable, or maybe you need the money, you're just maybe not quite as driven to take on as much. So when you keep it simple, but now that single mom who's got the credibility and all of a sudden her news feed starts blowing up, if you don't jump in quick to help her, she still gets overwhelmed. I mean, I had girls selling 70, 80 boxes their first month. Like, that is a lot to take on. It's a lot to manage. So you've got to not just leave them on an island. You know, you've got to help them.
Absolutely. So let's talk about that. When you say you help them, what do you do to besides teach them how to post? You helping them do the conversion? Is that what you're trying to teach them how to do?
I am a firm believer in three-way call, three-way text. So every time we get a customer, we put them in a three-way text. Every time we get a brand partner, we're putting them in a three-way text if they weren't already in one. Because sometimes people forget the three-way text for customers. So when we convert, I say, put us in a three-way text. That's how I drop them their link. So I go in a whole lot of three-way text. That doesn't mean I stay in there all the time, but I highly recommend it if you're wanting to build a business. It doesn't mean you always have to be in there commenting or anything. Sometimes I just go back and read their conversations. And then sometimes they come text me outside that, hey, did you see her comment? Because they know I can't read all of those. So I've coached my team, hey, did you see where Susan responded? She's not really seeing results. So I go look for that message and I can go in and respond to the customers. If it's a brand partner, hey, um, I got Philip and April. Hey, April's already sold 3 boxes today. All I have to do is come in and put a GIF. I'm giving her a shot of dopamine. Ah, this is so exciting. And guess what she goes and does? More of it. So then with our customers, when we're going through that and we're following up week 1, week 2, week 3, when they have a win, we had a lady the other night, I've already lost 10 pounds. Are you kidding me? We call, we get her on the phone. They introduce us, but they've already kind of gotten to know me through the text. So I'm not a total stranger. And then I share my 60-second story. I share partner co, and we either go straight into how to convert or we set up the Zoom and move them over into a Zoom to share with them that way.
And I think people need to understand that she's not getting on these calls and saying, hey, let's go get rich and buy Peru. I mean, I think sometimes people overwhelm people thinking about how much there is a lot of money to be made in these industries, but most people are not going to put the time and effort in it takes to do that. So you're just showing them a way that they can supplement their income. You're not trying to overwhelm them. Let's talk about what you say on a three-way call. You tell them your story. You get on a Zoom with them if you can. Is that what your goal is, to get on a Zoom?
hmm Well, we convert a lot just basically on a three-way call, but we're trying right now. I mean, we just kind of do a little mix of both. It doesn't really matter to me if I'm on the go. Sometimes we'll do the call. But when I share my 60-second story. I was a stay-at-home mom for 10 years. I became a single working mom working 4 jobs. I needed what was here. I'd put on weight, turned 40, needed the product. I lost 24 pounds in 35 days with no exercise. Like I just tested the drops. Fast forward, I started posting these things on my social media. It's totally changed my life. But I talk about people on my team that don't have the killer story. Hill and Diane Ballou made $60,000 last year in their 70s. They lost half their retirement. They were either going to go back to work or they could learn what I'm doing. And so stories like that, my friend works a full-time job. She did this on the side. She made an extra $36,000 last year. Like, and everybody's different, but she had no idea how much she was making. But those are the stories that people can really relate to. An extra $3,000 a month is life-changing money. We don't even have to talk about this big money that's being made. If the average family had an extra $3,000 a month, that changes your world. And we have a lot of people doing that here. So it's really easy to share those stories.
And I think probably the most important lesson she just told you was it's about the stories. Guys, people relate when you talk about other people and other stories. And sometimes we you didn't hear her say, I want to tell them about Coach Palmer and how much money he makes a week. She's talked about Hill Ballou, who's really made a difference. He was in his 70s. Understand, it's got to be relatable stories. Because sometimes we tend to get on the almost where people don't want to believe. And I can understand that. So when you begin to understand that it's about something they relate to, it's about people that they can relate to. Guys, that's really what you need to understand, that part. So as they get started, I mean, this industry is going to have attrition. I get people say, well, so and so quit. People quit church. People quit 4-H club. People quit the gym. I said the gym earlier. My daughter will tell you that her memberships will go up in about 3 weeks. They'll have a run on memberships in January because everybody makes a New Year's resolution. But the problem with business is the same. People want it to be overnight. They don't want it to work the time it takes to make something big happen. So what do you do to try to get them plugged in and stay with you? Once you've got them going, making a little money, what do you do to keep them going?
So I'm kind of the oddball out. As far as here, I don't really know other people, and some other people cross line have jumped on, but every Sunday night I do a team call. My team call is not about how to build a business. I do not teach the system of growth. I do not teach how to grow your social media. I teach you how to believe in yourself. Because at the end of the day, if you don't believe in yourself, if you can't build up the confidence, you're not going to stay with it. We talk about our whys, we talk about goal setting, we talk about our dreams, we talk about things to motivate us through the week. And so every Sunday night, we are setting the tone for our week moving forward. I've had other leaders reach out and they're like, I can't get anybody on a team call, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what are you doing? Are you teaching them something? She was like, I'll teach them this or I'll teach them that. And I'm like, that's not what they need. What we do is so simple. Like it does not have to be over taught. It's copy and paste. Teach them, remind them, teach your new people, help them become leaders, but you've got to teach them to believe in themselves so that they can stick around long enough to make it happen for them. Because for me, I mean, even back in the other company, I got Business Builder of the Year, I earned a car, I got to go on the cruise, but it was never what this company has done for me. Not even close. So when I talk to people, I share with so much excitement and passion. I know people think I'm crazy, but then they start getting their paychecks, or they might accidentally see mine and they're like, Summer. And I said, I'm telling you, this is stupid money. Like, that's what I tell them. And they've been in other companies, they've worked it 10 years. They said, no wonder you're so excited. And I said, this is the one, guys. This is the one. And my team understands that I don't share with the excitement and passion because I need somebody. I share with the excitement and passion because I have something I can give them. Because I was never, I mean, I went to Bali this summer. Y'all, that's literally the opposite side of the globe as Alabama. Okay. And I came back the other way. So I literally went all the way around the globe on my first epic escape with Partner Co. And here's the crazy thing: vision boards work. Setting your goals, writing them down, that is so huge. When I got back from Bali, in Facebook, you can save links, right? So you can save them to your saved board. So I have one for trips I'd like to take. When I got back from Bali, I was cleaning out my boards, like organizing my life so I can go do this bigger and without the clutter. And in 2017, I have saved a link on how to fly to Bali for like $497. It was on one of my boards and I did not even remember it. 5 years later, I am sitting in Bali and don't even realize that that's been on my trips I'd like to take board. In my bedroom is a poster board at the foot of my bed. When I took my team to Puerto Rico, I made my little crew drive me to Walmart. I bought poster boards, kids' scissors, and kids' glue sticks. And I told them before they came to Puerto Rico to bring magazines, printouts, things they want to do, things they want to have. And we took an afternoon and we sat around the Airbnb and we all made vision boards. We put everything and we all had to share them. I have never cried so much. Everybody's like, this was a therapy session, Summer. Everybody was crying. There were tears because we shared our souls. And on my vision board was CEO. So it was like a year ago, I put that on there and I was able, and I'm not going to cry this morning because I prepped myself for this just now. I took my boys back there and I showed them. I said, Mama hit it. Y'all have looked at this in my room. If you set a goal, you can go get it. And guess what I did as soon as I hit that goal? I celebrated it for a day or two, and then I printed me another picture out with the flyer for chair one. And I have to redo my whole vision board because it's poster board. I can't just take it on and off, it'll tear it up. But I'll do a whole new vision board. Me and the kids talk about our dreams all the time. But so many of us do not know how to dream, or we forget how to dream, or we've just stopped dreaming because life has sucked the life out of us.
It really has, Summer. And I'm so glad you talked about that because, guys, if you're not have something that you're looking forward to, then you're already dead. You just haven't got the date that's been set yet. I mean, I mean that very honestly, is that you've got to have focus on things that you're looking for. I love the vision board. I know that that's what changed my daughter's different. It changed her. She went to Puerto Rico, wasn't on your trip, but a different trip. And she met the owners and she did a vision board. Don't ever underestimate the power of a vision board or a goals board, whatever you like to call it. It's really funny because you say that we all have to have that. Most people don't realize I had it in my phone. I had a goal of something
Hmm.
that's important to me. By the way, guys, everybody's goal will be different. Hers was one thing, mine could be a different thing. She's got two boys to raise. My kids are grown. I'm worried about grandkids now, so it's a little different. So this everybody has different reasons in what you're looking for. So don't try to set their goals, but make them realize that there is you're start with the baby steps. One of the things I used to call it, hey, it's okay not to be setting goals. But you set a goal last year to become CEO. Now you set your goal. I remember something Coach Palmer said I thought was one of the best things I'd ever heard because he'd made whatever chairperson level 4. And someone made the comment to him, so are you looking for chairperson 5? And he said, well, yes, but most importantly, I'm going to stabilize chairperson 4. I want to make sure I'm
Hmm.
hitting that every week. So, guys, when you begin to understand that hitting goals is not just one title promotion, it's about stabilizing a business so that it continues to pay you. And that's what I talked about at the beginning of this call, the residual income, because it's life changing. So what happens when you have good days or bad days? Because everybody thinks because now you're CEO, all your days are good days, right? How do you keep
Oh,
yourself
I'm
going?
sure they do.
I mean, that's what the biggest
Um,
misconception is that the leaders don't deal with any issues. Guys, the bigger your business, the more issues. It's just a different type of issues. In the beginning, it's about trying to get your team started. Then it's about managing that team and making sure you keep them. But you don't quit recruiting. You don't quit looking, right?
no, that is number one. New blood is a lifeblood. Um, Good days, bad days, you make sure you got a good coach, Coach Palmer. Like I call him Brent, I call him Coach sometimes, but it's like he's like a big brother to me. We talk every day. I feel like 100 times a day. We laugh together. Like I'm talking in tears, laugh together, and it's made it such a fun journey. Um, for us. Brent taught me a long time ago. Part of it was what I knew in network marketing, and then what he reminded me of was just to take the emotion out of it. So you get on this IPA on weekdays and you see these people who are exploding their business, and they may be new coming in. And I always am like, don't compare yourself. I mean, nothing wrong with going fast, but the tortoise won the race, right? He was slow, he was steady, and it's much better to build a solid business you can keep up with than for it to explode so fast, not have any help, and then just drop like flies. So if it's taking you a little bit longer, don't worry about it. It's still happening. And so that's a key for my people. I'm like, take the emotion out of it. And it's really easy to take the emotion out of it when you realize the gift you have to give. It totally changes the perspective when you realize you're giving, you're not desperate for them. Your energy is different. People are attracted to you. More credible people will start reaching out to you. But if you chase, they're going to run. It's kind of like dating. You can't give it all to them. You can't I'm in love with you today. You got to attract them to what you're doing. And a lot of that comes from the self development and the confidence.
I don't think there's any question. That's probably one of the biggest things we don't hit on enough is that confidence factor. In the beginning, we're all desperate to
Hmm.
get somebody to join our business. Then what begins to happen is you seem desperate. I always say it's like the dog. Dogs can sense when people are scared of them. You ever notice that the people that are scared of dogs are the ones that get bit by dogs? The dog senses something. And the same thing with people. If they sense your nervousness or you're not confident, and it's hard to get past. I'll be honest, it is.
Hmm.
Reach that point that you know what, it's not going to change tomorrow. That's what you got to keep
Mm-mm.
in mind. That one person that quit or the one that didn't start. It's not going to change what your future is if you stay the course. And that's what most people miss the point is that it's me staying the course.
So that's one of the things. So in what I grew for a long time, I did not go approach people. I just ran the system of growth that came to me. But when I started, I went to two of my girlfriends specifically, and I said, "I'm going to do this drop thing." One of them was like, "Good for you," and one of them was like, "Well, you could put me in," but there was not much interest. And so many people wait on somebody. Like one had a position in my business, the other one had a position in my business, but they weren't doing anything. If I had kept trying to encourage them to do something, I wouldn't be where I am right now. I would still be trying to encourage them to do something. But when I left them in the dust, within 6 weeks, they saw before and afters. They saw people commenting on my post and they messaged, they said, okay, we need drops. What are you doing? Now, one of them's earned, I don't know, like I said, $36,000 last year. I don't know what the other one, they both have enough points to go to Maui in May. Like, I left them behind, not because I didn't care, it was because I cared. If I change my life and I just go hustle, they're going to wake up and follow. And one of those had a really hard time. She was like, I need to say something to these two girls again. I said, you've already said something to them, but I just need to say one more thing and then I'll be done. I'm like, you're already done. Do you remember what I did to you? And that light bulb went off. And you know what she did? She left them and she went and they woke up. So they're gonna follow you lead. If you go lead, they're going to follow you.
And if they don't, it doesn't matter. You can't
Mm-mm.
take everybody. And guys, that's if there's one thing that I had to learn early on because I come from a really large family, is I wanted everybody to. I've got family members doing the business now, but but it wasn't something that happened overnight. So let's talk about that in just a second. About you say you just move on. I heard somebody say years ago, a leader said, it's easier to give birth than it is to raise the dead. Because I think that's what we're talking about. And I'm like, as a matter of fact, I think he actually quoted, he said, most women can give birth, and Jesus is the one who raised the dead. So you don't want to, how you want to do this. A lot of people can give birth. So, and I think that's really very accurate. I think sometimes you can't, just because somebody frustrates you, they quit, that doesn't need to affect you. I mean, that's really the key to this whole thing. Just because someone else. So let's talk about, how do you spot that leader? And you say you plug them in. I know we've got so many ways to plug in. You kind of ease them into these other calls. Or you try to get them on the IPA call. I mean, I think it's pretty
Yeah.
important to plug them in.
So, what we do is on our board, like we go through the onboarding process, and then I say, and it's your job to get back in here and learn as much as you want. Like this can be $1 million business if you want it to be. The assets are here to do it, or it can be a $500 a month. You choose. I'm here to answer questions. I'm here to plug you in. I'm here to coach you. When I coach, I said I coach for a six-figure earner. Okay. But that doesn't mean you're required to do all that. So when I'm doing my lives and stuff like that, but we give them their first week to post. After we get them posting and boxes are moving, guess what? They're excited. They want a little bit more. Just like, dating, you go on the first date, there's a little bit of chemistry. The next day, we might tell them a little bit more about ourselves. So then we're going to get them to the team call. Then we're going to get them to the IPA. And if they can't, we make sure they're plugged into the group. But I have conversations. I'm texting them, I'm calling them. We're interacting with them to create the excitement so that they do want more. We're not suffocating them. So this is something me and some girls, like I had some girls over last night where we could plan for my workshop Sunday for the next year, filling up the calendar. It's like we have to be really good at having the posture to attract and not suffocate. And we've got to coach that to people. And I said, I understand when somebody gets a win, we get overly excited and we're like, we got to get them on the phone with Summer. We got to get them on the phone with Summer or Renee or whatever. But I said, we've got to learn to think about if we're in their shoes. So it really comes back to coaching. Understand, Brent's pretty confident in my skill set and knowing what to do. But on the IPA this week, we did interviews. We were supposed to be punctual, make it a tool we can use. I knew what I was going to say, but Brent still called me and coached me on what to say to make sure we were on the same page, to make sure we had a clean, usable tool for my team or anybody's team that could help produce income. If we get wordy, if we ramble, if it becomes too much, if I'm talking about where I was born, like things like that, it's going to lose people's interest. But if you're short, you're direct, you're to the point, and you hit the high points, you have a much bigger chance of having them come back and ask for more. If I give them my life story, if I give them everything about Partner Co., I lose them because we know everybody's got a short attention span.
You overwhelm them. And I think that's and you've got to let them kind of drink on their own, is what I call it. Let them drink at their own pace. And some will,
Yep.
otherwise you'll be drowning them. And that's really what
Hmm.
happens sometimes. We overwhelm people. I love that part. So you kind of let them set their goals, and then you basically coach them up and they make their own decisions as to how fast they want to work it.
Exactly.
And most people don't realize that it's about them. And that was a difficult task for me, by the way, just so everybody knows here. I would wanted everybody to want exactly what I wanted from this business. And I had to
Hmm.
learn that was kind of I was not in, they were not my employees or my business partners. So it's about me coming to where they want. And that's where a lot of people, and I was very difficult in the early stages. I just wanted to, I think a lot of people want to lead with an iron fist when in actuality you got to lead with love. I mean, Brent says it all the time, but that's exactly what it is. It's about making sure they get what, and don't be frustrated. If all they want is to supplement an income, your goal is to make $10,000 a week, but your goal is to make $150 a week. That's okay.
Hmm.
It may change. I think a good example is you, because in the
Hmm.
beginning you decided to get back in involved because you wanted to maybe to get rid of some of those part-time jobs, but now you going to Puerto Rico, it's all changed again. You saw the bigger
Hmm.
picture, but it was on your pace, not Brent getting you to do it. Correct?
Yes, and I just had a lady the same situation. She's actually my counselor. She does it a little different because her Facebook is geared towards her counseling business, and we were in a private group. And one day I finally just said, "Do you trust me?" And she was like, "Of course." I went live in her group. We did some things, created some stuff through the Christmas, the Black Friday. And all of a sudden, within 24 hours, she sold 12 boxes. I put her a brand partner in. She was not even on the three-way call. I just called her and said, "You got a new brand partner." And she was like, "What?" And guess what she's ready to do? She said, "Okay, I'm ready to sit down." I knew the timing was right where I could create something with all these people. I mean, she's got the credibility, she's got the eyes on her. I didn't have her eyes on me. Now her eyes are here, and I'm supposed to meet her next Monday. And I got a text this morning. She's got to go do this. She's got to do that. She's going out of town. She said, then holidays. She said, let's regroup. I'm sorry. I said, totally fine. Am I upset over it? No. I have plenty of people that I can go work with. I can go recruit new people. When she's ready, I'm here. And that's how you got to treat people. If I got mad at her today, I'd probably be kind of grumpy on this call. But to me, it's not like I understand everybody has their stuff. And if you get ghosted on a message, it doesn't mean I'm not interested in your drops. It means my two kids just ran in from the trampoline and one hit the other one upside the head with a stick and he's crying and I've opened your message and I forgot to go back and reply. But we always go worst case scenario. So it's really just reprogramming our thought process on we've got something good, we've got something we can give them, and we've got to understand people are just busy and forgetful and they don't know what they want in life. I mean, we don't know. And so it's our job to find their pain point, meet them there, and help fill the need, the void however that is, and just move them down the field, move them down the court little by little.
Well, it's their why. I think that always comes back to what they're after. And I know yours, you're passionate about your children, and your why, I'm sure, has got those kids' faces on it. I don't know that, but I'm guessing those kids' faces.
Yes.
And my why now has my grandkids. My still plugging in and still working. Well, it's got my grandkids' pictures. So here's what I want you to understand, guys. Everything comes down to it's not rocket scientists. Simplification, duplication. But one of the things I want you to talk a little bit more about your team call. So what you said you do certain things. So what do you on your team calls? You don't do presentations. You're not doing a drop talk. That's just about them, and it's about what you share reward. I mean, successes. Is that some of the things you do?
Hmm.
People talk about
Every
promotion.
sun every Sunday night, it's here's our announcements. I talk about PXP Destin every Sunday night. I talk about big events, parties, or workshops coming up, and I brag on those who are having their drop talks in their area. This girl had one, this girl had one, this guy had one. So it's really just making sure people are plugged into what's available in their area. Then we announce rank advancements. We try to announce golden ultimates because it's the most important. I don't always get those reports, but we try to. And then it's whatever's on my heart. So I am not a like they laugh because I come in and I'm like, here's my notebook, y'all. It's blank. It has the announcements and the rank advancements, but it's whatever comes to me that day. It may be something I heard at church. It may be some kind of conversation I had with somebody. It may be something I said on Chris Doyle Saturday morning that hit me different, that just evolved into something different. Or it may just be what I'm learning, like what is affecting me, what shifted in my world in the last 2 hours or maybe the last, you know, week that has really changed how I am as a person, because that is so impactful when it comes to my business. And then we wrap it up and we're ready to conquer the week. They got a game plan to go. Now, I will cover a promotion here or there, making sure people are plugged in, but for the most part, that's it.
Well, so let's talk about that. When you talk about a team call, so that call has obviously changed in size. How many were on it when you started?
Oh, probably just a couple.
So I think some people think that you got to wait till you have a team to have a team call. Guys, if you've got one
Mm-mm.
person, that's your team. And then it's
Mm-hmm.
people, it's three people on your team. It doesn't matter. Paul and Sharon Goss have been on this call with me on Saturday mornings for years. And I'm telling you, we did this Saturday call and there was 10 or 12 people show up sometimes. That's it. And guys, now, I mean, now we've had as many as max the room out at 500. So what's the difference? Time and consistency. Those are the keys. So, by the way, I'm going to make a point. I always bring this up. You just said it that you didn't when you get your Sunday morning calls, Saturday night calls. You don't have a list. I tell everybody that I don't ever really prep people for this call. How much conversation have you and I had about what we're going to talk about today?
Zero. I almost called Brent this morning. It's like, what's Chris Doyle doing this morning? But he knows I'm a fly by the seat of my pants kind of girl. Like,
I knew
my
that, but
team knows that. We may have a workshop and I'll be like, they don't even know what they're walking into. I kind of have a flow for that now, but it is changing tomorrow. So we'll see what
thing I want
happens.
people to understand is that Summer and I text only that she would be here and I sent her the link and there was no discussion about what we would talk about. And the reason I say that is because I want people to realize our leaders that get on this call are people that are talking straight from their heart, things that they've learned. They're not trying to prep something. I think that's important to realize. They're just shooting from what their everyday experiences and what they're seeing build their businesses. So if you could give everybody on the call maybe one or 2 points. That would be what do you need to do to take your business? Because a lot of people on here, if you want to take your business to another level, I don't know what put a one in the chat that you want to move up. So what would be Summer's main things you would tell you to get your business to the next level? Look at them ones. Everybody wants to rank up. That's not we talk about ranking up, but let's face facts. The ones you want to get to are officer, senior officer, CEO. Those are the ones that have really become what I call real serious income. That I call it full-time money on a part-time work. So talk about what would you say? Your number 1 or 2 points.
Number one is learn how to set goals. You have to set goals you believe in that you can look at and chase. I mean, we need big, audacious goals. Yeah, I want to get to chairperson one. But you know what? When I came here, I didn't even know the ranks. Brent just called me the first Black Friday and he said, "You're 6 packs from senior officer." I said, "I don't even know what that means." He said, "It's adult money. Get it done." So I knew, go get 6 10 packs. And I did it. Okay. So those goals are going to push you to the next little rank. Y'all, every rank here is important because it creates that excitement. And number two is do not make it about yourself. When I ran for CEO, I had my volume, but it was not in the computer because I was saving it to see where it needed to go. I had new brand partners coming in. And my number one, the reason I didn't know I was 6 packs from senior officer the first year is because it wasn't about me. It was helping my team. Who can get to rank? Who can I get the biggest paychecks for? And literally this week, I have gotten calls from people in tears because they were like, "I know you did that." And it wasn't me, it was the team. I had people, I've coached my people, hold your pack, hold your pack, hold the volume. Let's see where it needs to go. And that's how we break ranks together. Some of them did not even know I was CEO. There were a couple who knew I'd gotten it, but I didn't even tell all of my closest friends because it didn't matter to me. Yes, it's exciting, but it's about them because when they get those record paychecks, I'm taken care of. The money to me is just a tool, it's just a scoreboard. I'm a single mom with no bills, okay? Like I am financially way better off than 90% of Americans. And I don't spend money. Like that's a joke amongst my team. So be smart with the money you're making. Reinvest in your business, save it, invest it in something else. Don't feel like you've hit the lottery and you go spend it all. Be wise with what you're doing. But Zig Ziglar has said it forever. If you help enough people get what they want, you'll have everything you want. And for me, everybody on my team matters and they know it. I'm a collector of people, not paychecks. I'm a collector of people. Like I love my people and they know it. They've helped me through some really hard times in my life. And so when I can create that paycheck for somebody who's working and they're just not quite there and we can move that volume and they call us crying, I mean, ugly crying, that is the best thing in my life, other than my kids, that I get to experience. And so it's really, really fun when you do that. And when you do that over and over, your business is going to grow, no doubt. And they're going to stay because it's not just about my paycheck. It's not just about me placing volume so my check grows. It's who else's check's going to grow at the same time.
I think that's a perfect place to end because guys, when it comes down to it's and that's why I know that you're such a great leader. It's never been about it, it's always about the team. I mean,
Hmm.
I've said this many times. If you see a turtle on a fence post, somebody helped put him there. So the guys understand that this business is about having a great group of people that are all working together as partners. They're not your employees, they're your partners. And that's why I love our name of our company, Partner Co. So your goal is simple: help other people succeed, help them get to the next level. If you do that to enough people, good things will happen in your business as well. Summer, thank you for being on this morning. I mean, we've just right at 1 hour, and
It was
I knew it was going to
fun.
be, it went quick. I looked up and I'm like, I can't believe it's 3 minutes till the hour. This will be posted, as most people know. My daughter posts them on Kristen White. I don't even know. Somebody may know what her site is. I don't even know. It's funny how I don't keep up with her YouTube page, but she'll get these posted by the end of the day. I've already had text where it's just going to be posted. That's a great thing. And I want to, the guys, if you really appreciate today, put a heart in the chat. I really get so much each week out of these calls because I learn things. And you'll just notice I got a notepad because I'm writing things down that she said. Summer, you're a great leader. What we've got coming is just starting. That's
Oh,
what people need to
eh.
understand. I've seen the picture show before. I know you watch the company go through momentum, and guys, you just don't realize over the next 24 months, this train, what you think is a train, is going to be another level of it. And we've got everything in place to make that special. I'm really convinced of that. And otherwise, I would still be doing Saturday mornings. Yeah,
Gives me chills,
I
y'all.
did
I'm
too.
telling
It's
you.
funny. I got the hair standing up on my
Please.
neck because I
Yes,
know.
please see it.
And so the thing is that so many people are going to miss it because they won't see that. And I can't help that. I mean, that's part of life. But seize those ones who want it and help them succeed. That's probably the biggest lesson we got out of today is help them do what they want. I'm going to stop the recording.